When did you realize something was wrong?
It was in the middle of my tour for my memoir, my Hitch 22. And I was feeling a bit ropey, but I wrote it down to overwork, and I rather enjoy the feeling of burning the candle at both ends and, you know, living a 36-hour day. Mm-hmm. But it abruptly was borne in on me that that was an illusion. There was a morning came, I couldn't get out of bed. Something was obviously wrong with my heart and my lungs. This was in New York.
You felt it as soon as you woke up?
Oh, yeah. I couldn't move, really. And I thought, no, this is not... You know, there's an expression about, I woke up feeling like death. Mm-hmm. I've had that. But this was not like that.
You had some rough mornings?
This was like that. This was, I thought, maybe I'm dying.
And when you found out what kind of cancer it was, it's the same sort of cancer your father had.
Yeah, one of the first things that I thought was, that's what killed the old man.
Mm-hmm. Because my dad died of a heart attack when he was 50, and I really don't want to die of a heart attack. Like, for some odd reason, yes. The idea of dying, it's not even the age thing, it's just having that for some reason. So did that cross your mind?
No, you don't feel any filial piety about the disease that killed your father, no. And then the second thought was a rather selfish one, I suppose, or self-centered. I thought, well, he lived to be 79. I'm 61.
So that question, why me, came across your mind?
Well, you can't avoid the question, however stoic you are. You can only bat it away as a silly one. I mean, millions of people die every day. Everyone's got to go sometime. I came by this particular tumour honestly. I mean, if you smoke, which I did for many years, very heavily, with occasional interruptions, and if you use alcohol, you make yourself a candidate for it.
And that's
in your 60s.
You said, I mean, you burned the candle at both ends. You think...
And it gave a lovely light.
It gave a lovely light. But you think part of that, the way you lived, is responsible for this?
Well, it would be very idle to deny it. And I might as well say to anyone who might be watching, if you can hold it down on the smokes and the cocktails, you might be well advised to do so.
That's probably the subtlest anti-smoking message I've ever heard.
Well, the other ones tend to be rather strident.
That's true.
And for that reason, easy to ignore.
Yeah. So you are hopeful?
Well, I'm not fatalistic, I'm not resigned, but I'm realistic too. The statistics in my case are very poor. Not many people come through esophageal cancer and live to talk about it, or not for long.
I know you know that there are people praying for you. There are prayer groups, actually, and you've talked about that a little bit. What do you think about that, the fact that people are praying for you?
There are people who are praying for me to suffer and die. They have lavish websites relishing my...
Really?
Oh, yes. And then there are people, much more numerous, I must say, and nicer, who are praying either that I get better or that I redeem myself, that I make peace with the Almighty. And that my soul gets saved, even if my wretched carcass does not. And some pray for both.
So you don't pray at all?
No. No, that's meaningless to me. I don't think that souls or bodies can be changed by incantation, or anything else, by the way.
So do you tell people not to do it for you?
No, I say if it makes you feel better, then you have my blessing.
It's interesting hearing you talk about it. It's, I mean, obviously you are an intellectual, and you seem to be dealing with it in an intellectual way. I mean, does that make sense? I mean, you seem to be looking at this, trying to look at this as rationally as possible. What about the emotional side?
Well, let's say as objectively as possible.
Objectively?
Yes. And, I mean, slightly to my own surprise, because I'm not by any means tear-proof, I haven't wept at any point yet. Maybe that's to come. But I've become moist when I think about my children, for whom it's a nasty shock.